declining honeybee population, there won't be enough pollinators for my fruit trees this year.
Well, don't worry. I know a great way to attract more bees for your trees by adding mason bees.
Oh yeah, I've heard about adding nests to your yard to attract mason bees. Thank you, Chairperson,
Welcome, honorable judges,
ladies,
gentlemen,
and fellow 4-H members.
hello. I'm Chloe Braslins.
And I'm Annabelle dos Santos. And today, we'd love to show you how to make an easy, inexpensive, and fun mason bee nest that we are calling the Airbnb.
Due to environmental causes, our honeybees are in decline, meaning less pollination for our flowers and fruit trees. We'd like to share with you an idea on how you can increase your pollination by creating a mason bee nest. Did you know a single mason bee visits over 20,000 blossoms per day and pollinates 12 pounds of cherries?
12 pounds of cherries? That's a lot!
That's a job for over 60 honeybees. They really are the super pollinators.
And why are they called mason bees, you may be wondering? Well, that's a fantastic question. They are called mason bees because they use mud to make their nests.
Wait, hold on. Bees and mud?
You heard it right, mud.
Okay, well, let's show everyone how to make a simple and affordable nest. All the items needed you should be able to find in and around your home.
And as for the cost, if you have all of these items at home, then it's free. But if you have to go out and buy these items, the drill is about $50, or you could use a can opener and poke a hole in the back of your can. And as for the other items, goggles, paper, ruler, scissors, twine, and tape, you can get for under $15. But with that, you can make many nests.
That's amazing.
Okay, Chloe, let's get started with our materials.
Sounds good to me.
The materials you will need are container, anything waterproof. For our demonstration, we are using a soup tin, but you could also use a 2-liter pop bottle cut in half. Paper, 8.5 by 11 inches, preferably without ink. Drill and bits, safety goggles, pen or pencil,
Tape any type, ruler, scissors, twigs, pine cones, and twine, approximately 25 inches.
Okay, Chloe, let's get started with the instructions. Hey, Chloe, what kind of bee can't make up its mind?
I don't know.
A maybe!
That's a good one.
First step, prepare your container. For the sake of time constraints, we've already done a few things in advance, like peeling off our label. Next step, drill a hole in your can for the twine.
But before using a drill, you should always make sure you have safety goggles on and a parent or guardian around when using a power tool.
We are adding the hole for the twine so that we can hang the Airbnb. We are using 25 inches of twine, and you can use any amount, but what's most important is that your twine isn't too long, so that your nest won't sway in the wind and get damaged. Next step, thread your twine. Go through the hole and tie the ends together. Hey Chloe, what does a bee chew?
I don't know.
Bumble gum!
That's a good one. You're on a roll. Here I'm just using a simple knot.
Okay, moving on to the next step. Make your paper tubes. The length depends on the size of your container. A good rule is that your tubes should be an inch shorter than your container so that they are protected from the rain.
The length of our can is 4.5 inches, so that means we are cutting the paper to 3.5 inches.
Our paper is already pre-cut.
Thank you.
Next step, roll paper around pencil. Take your pencil and wrap paper tightly around. Did you know that mason bees are about half the size of honeybees? and they prefer a diameter of about 1 centimeter, which happens to be roughly the diameter of our pencil. Next step, add tape to tube. We do this to make sure our tubes don't unroll. You want to make enough tubes to fill about 3/4 of your container. We have already made our tubes in advance. Next step, add tubes to the container. I bet you're wondering why they use tubes.
Actually, mason bees don't drill holes or make hives. They find pre-made holes left by beetles or woodpeckers. They gather the mud and bring it into the hole, or in our case, the tube. We've created a model to show you the inside of the tube. So, they gather the mud, pollen, nectar, then the egg. Then they repeat each step until the tube is full. Mud, pollen, nectar, egg. When the larvae hatches, it feeds off the pollen and the nectar, then it leaves the nest.
Is there something that we could do other than making paper tubes?
Absolutely. You can use straws, or you can buy pre-made tubes from a nursery. Now, moving on to the final step. You want to fill your frame with twigs. You can add pine cones or anything natural. Make sure it's snug, but be sure you don't dent the tubes.
This looks a little plain. Can we paint it?
Oh, for sure, you can paint the house. But there's only one thing. We need to be careful, as the smell of the paint can deter the bees from nesting in it. To reduce this risk, leave the inside of a bee house unpainted, or paint it a few weeks before setting it up. Remember, when you're picking a paint color, bees are attracted to bright colors like purple, blue, white, and yellow.
We can also decorate the outside using bottle caps, wine corks, and pipe cleaners. Now, this is important. Placement. Where to hang your bee nest. Hang your bee nest no further than 50 to 100 feet from a source of mud, east or south direction for the morning sun, on a house fence or shed at least 5 to 7 feet above the ground, and under an eave or deck for weather protection. Chloe, is there anything else that we should do?
Sure, there are other things we can do by placing the nest near flowers, and once again, like the colors, planting purple, blue, white, and yellow flowers. For an example, asters, poppies, or black azules are a fantastic choice.
And there you have it. Here is our Airbnb. Okay, let's review the process.
Perfect.
Here we go. The materials you will need are container, paper, drill and bits, safety goggles, pen or pencil,
tape any type, ruler, scissors, twigs, pine cones, and twine, 25 inches.
Now let's do the instructions. Prepare container, drill hole, thread twine, make the tubes, measure, paper, and cut.
Roll paper around pencil, add tape to tubes, add twigs, tubes, and pine cones to container. And there you have it. Here's our Buzzy Air Bee Bee. We've created a step-by-step instruction sheet so that if you want to make your very own Airbnb at home.
In conclusion, providing safe bee habitats is a fantastic way to increase the mason bee population and to ensure that the bees will always be around to pollinate all of our plants,
including your fruit trees.
Aw, thank you. Are there any questions?
How many bees do you think would fit in one of your homes?
The question has been asked, how many bees do you think would fit in one of your homes? So bees, they take up 2 tubes for their eggs, and because our nest has about 20 tubes, about 10 mason bees could lay their nest in our mason bee nest. Does that answer your question?
Thank you.
Are there any further questions?
Is there any way that you can protect that opening from rain so the bees don't get wet in there?
The question that has been asked, is there any way to protect the openings so the bees don't get wet in it? Yes, absolutely. You can always build a little ledge to go over top of the can, like right here. So that makes sure the rain doesn't go over there. Does that answer your question?
Yes.
Are there any further questions?
Yes?
Is there a specific place you should put your homemade hive? An example of this being in the sun or the shade?
The question has been asked, is there a specific place you should hang your bee nest? So you want your bee nest to be like east or south direction because you want it to have the morning sun. They really like the sun in the morning. And you want it 5 to 7 feet above the ground to be protected from predators such as ants. And under an eave or deck because you don't want the rain and the snow. Does that answer your question?
Yes, it does. Thank you.
Are there any further questions? Yes.
You've talked about when would you put up your nest or your house?
The question that has been asked, when would you put up your nest? So the best time to put up your mason bee nest is in the springtime because that's when all the flowers are flourishing and it's the best time for the mason bees to grow. Does that answer your question? Are there any further questions?
Yes.
Do you guys have many of these around your house?
The question has been asked, do you guys have many of these around your house? Well, I have one at my house.
And I also have one at my house.
Does that answer your question?
Are there any further questions?
Are there any further questions?
Are there any further questions?
If there are no further questions, this concludes our demonstration on the Buzzy